As mentioned, vocabulary is a huge focus of this lesson. On the class word wall, continue to have a student write the word on a sentence strip or note card with a simple illustration, and use total physical response by creating hand motions to represent each word. Remember, you may also have those who need to have your support, needing individual word lists based on their English language development or other support needs. In the opening, students are given vocabulary logs. The teacher should explain the meaning of academic vocabulary and domain-specific vocabulary. Academic vocabulary are words that are used across the curriculum, rather than pertaining to a certain subject, such as illustrate and declaration. Domain-specific vocabulary are words that students will use specific to what they are studying, such as liberty and human rights. Some students who need very heavy support may benefit from their own vocabulary chart that does not specify between academic and domain-specific vocabulary and is only one list. Do keep in mind that other students need the rigor of these two separate lists. In opening part B, unpacking the learning targets through a mini language dive with the whole class is a great way to help students understand what the expectations are by the end of the lesson. Notice the reference to the Close Readers Do These Things chart for understanding the word universal. Notice this section also gives other ideas to unpack the word universal, such as clapping out the syllables and referring to the affix chart that students have in their student materials. Total physical response, using hand motions to create representations of words, would be a good strategy also.
Universal declaration.
Model recording this word on the academic vocabulary chart and filling in each column. Since it's the first time students will use this chart, consider giving an example of a more familiar word that would be an academic vocabulary word. When the word declaration is discussed, the affix list will be distributed. Think about adding one more word that students may be familiar with in order to give students who need more support a more familiar example of how the affix list can be used. Also, add universal and declaration to the class word wall and invite students to add their translations in their home languages. During work time A, consider pre-selecting a student partnerships for back-to-back face-to-face protocol and try to meet with mentor students prior to the lesson to encourage them to share their thought processes with their partner. During work time B, notice that the focus is on vocabulary of Article 3 of the UDHR. Students will add the word liberty and security to their domain-specific vocabulary list. Add these to your class word wall also, having two students draw visual for each of the word before they are displayed. Also, you may want to give an example of other words that are domain-specific, such as author and main idea, or seed and stem. Again, it may help all students if you chunk the task into two parts, first identifying Article 3 for unknown vocabulary and adding it to the logs, and then determining the gist. In work time C, notice students are introduced to the simplified version of the UDHR and analyze that compared to the original. Be aware that the website has the UDHR available in other languages. ELL students may find it helpful to compare the English version to their home language version. When students are making connections between Las Uvas and the UDHR, strategically pair them up, so those that need more support have a stronger student with them. When students record the article number on a sticky note and put it in their copy of Esperanza Rising book, encourage some students to draw a quick sketch on their sticky note to illustrate this particular threat to human rights. You may need to model this first. Scaffolding is an instructional method that progressively moves students toward greater independence and understanding during the learning process. Refer to the EL Scaffold overview for grades 2 through 5 for additional resources. As a reminder, additional resources and professional learning videos can be found in Learning Central under the appendix within each grade level module and in the teacher planning tools for your grade level curriculum. If you need more assistance with differentiating scaffolding lessons, you may wish to reach out to the experts in your building, the ESL teacher, the special ed specialist, intervention teachers, or contact the central office coordinating teacher assigned to your school for support.